na wizji, myślę, że możemy zaczynać. Witam Was wszystkich serdecznie na webinarze IT and Personal Development Women's Perspective. Nazywam się Agnieszka Majeran and I am business partner at Motorola Solutions. I forgot we had to skip in English. So first of all, let me present my guests. So today with me we have 4 fantastic guests. 3 of them I have great pleasure to work with, and also 1 special external guest. Starting with our internal guests, I will start with Joanna Zwolak. Welcome. Joanna is a master engineer by education, and she has over 16 years experience in IT. She started her career as a developer. Mainly it was assembler programming. And then after around 11 years ago, she decided to change her career path, and she moved to project management. And currently she's working as a project manager, but also as a people leader. My second guest, Tatiana Bergma, has also master degree in computer science, 10 years of experience in IT, currently working as a product owner in customer web portal, and she is passionate of software architecture and DevOps. Marta Grzegorczyk. Again, our MSI employee. Marta started as an intern, currently working as software engineer in one of our Command Central application team. And her perspective is to become Scrum Master in the future. And Marta, as a student, was also very, very active. She was participating in 2 organizations, AI STE and IT for She initiatives. Welcome, ladies, and our special guest, Sandra Victorko. Sandra is partner relations at Perspective Educational Foundation. She's also employer branding specialist, supporting businesses on building a brand focused on diversity and inclusion, very hot topic right now. And she is a great believer of mentoring programs as a tool of development professionally and individually. So welcome, ladies. Today we are going to talk about women's perspective and how it is to build a successful career in IT world. For those who are listening, we are open for questions, so you can ask them anytime. I also introduce you to write on chat. We have an hour and a half, so definitely we will use this time for your questions as well. All right, so let's first of all talk about passion, talk about inspirational stuff, career paths, etc. So my first question actually goes to Tatiana. Please tell us, is really passion needed to be successful at work?
Aga, in order to answer to your question, let me explain what the success actually means to me personally, because I would envision there is a lot of people who would imagine the success as a Nobel Prize winning or the Oscar. But actually, any of those who won the Oscar, they didn't go straight ahead from the acting school to the Oscar nomination. And any big story usually consists of a large story of failures and large story of tries and large story of taking the risk, going outside of your comfort zone, and then repeat again. And every single time I repeat something, and if I make a very small step forward, I would feel success of making this kind of progress. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be meaningful to my neighbor, or to my friends, or to my family. And this is only what is meaningful to me, because I know how much effort I spent, how much time, how much risk, what I put into this to happen. And so this is what success is to me personally. And I think in order to find the strengths to go and overcome the obstacles on the way to make this progress, any kind of person needs motivation. Otherwise, I don't know what on earth would make anybody do this again and again and failing again and again. So the passion is one of those tools and ways to motivate yourself in going forward. Not like the passion is something that could be found or developed, but it's definitely could be searched for. And when I'm looking in my past, when I look into my career, my knowledge, in my skills, the biggest progress I think I made, basically, and Motorola is my fourth place of employment. And even inside Motorola, I was changing teams and projects and changing constantly. And I think through all of that, the biggest progress I made, and the progress is what, again, this is a success to me personally, right? This is what I know that I made the progress on and how much I put in it. And I think the biggest progress I ever made was when I was interested in what I was doing and when I was passionate about what I was doing. Like here, right now, in my current project, it's so easy to envision how the work that we do here, how does it impact all those people around it, all the users, how much important it is for them. And this might be one of the sources for the passion I am sourcing for myself at the moment. It might change, but getting back to your question, I'm absolutely sure that passion is not the only thing needed to the success, but this is one of the key roles in trying and going forward. And I don't know any successful person, any kind of successful person who was not passionate about what he or she was doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Tatiana. And you've mentioned something very important: changes after changes, trying, building, and learning from mistakes. So actually, the second question goes to Asha, because you change your career path. You have years of experience. So can you tell us if your past experience has an impact on the future roles and help you to be successful in your current job?
To be honest, I believe so. It is because, as you mentioned, I was developer, I was troubleshooter, tester. Later on, I was a little bit of Scrum Master. Now I am project manager and people manager, to be honest. So I believe my education helped me a lot and my technical background helped me a lot, because it is, to be honest, it is much easier to talk with engineers, with developers, when you at least understand what they are talking about. So engineers and developers are very concrete in communication, and I learned that I need to be very concrete in communication and very precise in communication. So as an example, for example, some time ago I had some situation with one of the engineers. So I asked him, would it be possible to do it something during a week? And he told me, of course. So on Friday, I'm asking, how is it going? What's going on? And is it ready? And he told me, you didn't tell me that I should do it this week. So it was curious for me, to be honest. However, at that time, I realized that I need to be a very concrete, precise, and straightforward in the communication, and also open, because we need to discuss with people. And step by step, day after day, I learn how communication in this particular environment is important. And all of the changes and steps that I did have learned me a lot, for sure. And for me, the most touchable things are humility and patience. And I learned that it doesn't matter that I want something. I need to show that I am capable to do it. So every single failure in my career, even in the code, for example, learned me a lot that I need to learn every day, step by step, be patient. And huge humility for me was a big problem. Right now, I am quite calm person. I can talk with people and so on. So we have to remember also that, and I learned that we have around us managers. They are smart and very intelligent persons. So we have to learn by listen them for sure, because the place where they already are right now prove that they are smart guys, and we should take knowledge for them. So this is from my perspective also extremely important, that I listen my manager, I ask questions if I didn't understand why I should do this that way and not that way, for example. So listen and listen. So we have such sentence in IT world, so you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So 2 times more listening than speaking is a key in our world. So I believe that's all from my side. If you have some questions, I'm always open to answer.
Thank you. I absolutely love actually this saying, because it definitely learns us and led us to hear more things that we will just stuck in our own heads. We also will touch on the mentoring piece later on, but right now I would like to ask Marta, how does it look from young professional who is entering the IT world? Did you have in mind a set plan of, okay, I want to do this and that, or maybe it came along your way and your experience?
Yeah, I didn't have a clear idea of what I want to do in IT world when I started to study IT. Since my 3rd year and first short internship in another company, I fell in love with the front-end part of the applications, and I started to learn JavaScript and focus on this area. I have wanted to work in Motorola since my first year of study and first very practical workshop about the Scrum basics. These workshops was the first time when I heard about Scrum at all. Unfortunately, when I'm looking for my first job, Motorola has only a few places for front-end developers, and internships for them can't seem to be possible. But after some time, things were totally different. So I finally found a position to me, and now I'm a front-end developer, and I'm started from the internship. And I start work during my last semester of master degree. Motorola gives me a perfect environment to finish study and work at the same time, because I'm work 30 hours per week, so it is possible. So my work allows me to grow today, and now I'm not just a front-end developer, but I'm also improving my soft skills as a Scrum perspective. So I learn a lot of new things, like creating effective meetings and making our team more effective.
Well, sounds very, very interesting. You also touch on the soft skill piece, and this is the second part, the second topic of the discussion for today. So more concentrating on competencies, soft skills, hard skills. So let me just give you a short definition of what competency is. So it's just simple ability to do a task effectively. It's the knowledge, skills, and behaviors that needs to get the job done. And we say that we have 2 broad types of competencies, because you can find so many definitions of competencies that we wanted to make it very simple. And these are behavioral and functional. Functional are technical, so the technical knowledge used for the job, and behavioral, they are very often called soft skills. And here comes my question to Sandra. Can you elaborate a little bit more on how do you understand soft skills and why they are so important in the current world?
Yes, yes, of course. Thank you for invitation. Good afternoon, you all. The soft skills, the dictionary is one thing. What we think about is another thing.
Sandra, can you move a little bit your mic?
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, do it again. So I think the dictionary is one thing. What we think about soft skills is another thing. But I think that soft skills are something like a non-technical skills that relate to how you work, They include how you interact with your colleagues, how you solve problems, and how you manage your work life, how you learn. The term as a soft skills is not strictly scientific. Generally speaking, soft skills are psychosocial life skills that enable a person to deal effectively with different situations, tasks, and challenges of everyday life. And I think that most important thing is that they are the result of upbringing, experience, and are not supported by certificates or data. So why they are so important? I think that they are something like an essential part of improving the ability to work with others and can have a positive influence on furthering our career, for example, help us learn, help us work, and I think they live better. Um, Besides the technology, in my opinion, technology cannot exist without humans, without soft skills and human habits, emotions, and ability to express. So I think that nowadays, when we are so strongly focused on technology, this is especially important to develop our soft skills. And there is a lot of tools to do that. As you mentioned, we will talk about mentoring. I think that is the best way to develop our soft skills. But the most important benefits, in my opinion, is, for example, responding appropriately to life situation, coping with failures, with crisis, ability to adapt to changing conditions, and so on and so on. There is a lot of good things about soft skills, and I think that we should develop sometimes more than tech skills.
Sandra, do you think that developing soft skills is harder than developing hard?
Yes, I think that it's harder because it is always about us. For example, in my opinion, the most difficult part is fighting with the self-confidence. This is the most difficult part, and it's not only about young professionals or students who are just start on the job market, but as a foundation, as a Perspective Foundation, we made a lot of reports, and 2 years ago. We made research in a group of women who has around 15 plus experience in the IT in technology field, and they said that the most difficult problem they have is a self-confidence and fight with the inner critic. So it's a long way to do that, but it can be.
It's manageable, right?
Yes.
So, Asha, from your perspective, when you look at candidates, when you look at your team members, what soft skills are desirable in the IT world?
Oh, I have to agree with Sarah, to be honest. And I need to mention also about, for me personally, we can talk about the big two or rather three must have in IT world. We need to talk about communication, collaboration, and responsibility. The main thing, right now, I am a manager for one of the crucial areas for people's life. And I'm talking right now about Premier One CAD, computer-aided dispatch. So P1 CAD is an application that provides detailed information to the dispatcher about incident, and we are talking about real time. So you are calling 911, for example, if you are in USA, and dispatcher is picking up the phone and starting ask the questions. So we need to have in mind that this is a very big thing that we are doing right now, because we are personally let's say, responsible also for this application to working correctly. So that's why we are delivering software to, for example, fire departments and police departments. So we have to realize that we are responsible for working properly. That's why we need to have in mind that communication and collaboration also inside in the team and inside between the teams and with customers and with managers is also very important, because sometimes we need to have a call, for example, with customer, and on real system we need to fix some issue. That's why we need to properly communicate with those guys. And we know that sometimes we have very nice guys, sometimes not really, to be honest. And we know that if we have some problem, for example, with the system, no one is happy. So communication and collaboration, asking questions, and assure customer that we are taking care of this issue is extremely important. That's why we need to find common language with other peoples with another areas, not only inside the team, but also outside the team. That's why we need to also remember, in case of skills, that we need to be flexible. Sometimes we are working on something, but we received information from customer that something extremely important popped up, and we have to take care of this. That's why flexibility is also very important in IT world, because sometimes we have to switch. We are working on some task, and sometimes we have to just switch to another one. So here, this is a point that we it is very desirable from IT perspective. And what is also really important that what is really important thing is do not afraid to ask. We know that no one is alpha and omega. So learning is a process, and the same situation we have in case of our system. So we have to learn all the time what's going on, why it's happened, and so on. So asking questions is perfectly okay from our side. And we need to learn that it is not something that we perceive as not good thing, but rather opposite. We need to ask, to have respond on our question, to fix customer issues. And this is extremely important. And what is, I believe, also really important in IT world, it's good to have team with some kind of sense of humor, because to be honest, sometimes
is there any special recruitment process for that?
No. At least I do not know such, to be honest. However, it's always better to work with people that are smiling, for example, that not always are sad, for example. So when we have such people with such skills, we can do big things in our world, to be honest. And having in mind area what I work on, it is extremely important for me.
So you've mentioned flexibility, communication skills, not being afraid of asking open questions, and positive mindset.
Yeah.
Let's call it this way. So Marta, from your perspective, did you have to learn new soft skills or maybe improve some when you joined the company?
Thanks. I'm totally agree with Asia. I think that the most important soft skill in IT world is collaboration in a team, especially in bigger organizations like Motorola. So we need to be aware that we are working in a team, not only as an individual. So I learn every day that a perfect team player should know how to talk about their needs and also want to help each other and help other team members. Yeah. So sometimes we need to be aware that we are making mistakes. So for my career path, I could recognize where I improved and recognize my soft skills, which I used during my engineering work. So, and most of them happened during my studies. I was very glad to decide to be a student president of the year. This
Whoa.
area, yeah, this area taught me about interaction and a negotiation with our professors. Because I was working and studying at the same time in final years, I also learned how to manage my time. So it's also important skill. I learned a lot in student organization IAESTE when we organized workshops, when we organized events, and also learned how to efficiently work as a team. And I also recognize how contact with other IT girls is important. So I was very thankful to Perspective Foundation to create Women in Tech Camp, mentoring programs, and Women in Tech Summit conference. From these actions, I recognize my good and even bad points. I became more confident.
It's always nice to hear. I didn't know that you are one of our beneficiaries. Nice to hear.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, probably. Yeah, but became more confident, and I'm also recognized and meet a lot of nice women in technology. So yeah, so thank you for this. Yeah, and we need to be each other with women because men are bigger part of IT world, and this is the fact. So yeah, so meeting with other is important.
Guys, we have one question, actually two, but
we have two questions. Yeah.
Yes, but I will ask the second one, and then I will come back to the third one when we will talk about internships again. So, question from Edita. I am developer with 5 years of experience, and I want to become a manager in the near future. What should I invest in to become a manager in 2 years?
Oh my goodness, I believe this is a question to me. To be honest, I cannot precisely answer you on this question because you know I do not know you, so I have no idea what kind of skills you have. However, you need to show to your, for example, manager, and first of all, you have to tell him or her, whatever, your manager, that you would like to be a manager in the future. I believe she should direct you what you should work on, and maybe on the beginning some small steps in your career should address to you. For example, your manager can give you some small project to check if it is possible that you will be able to do it. For example, small project, for example, contact with some kind of, I don't know where you are working right now, some contact maybe with customer, collaboration between the teams, try to do some common, for example, project and coordinate this project, for example, between your teams. Show that you are capable to do it step by step, small steps, and later on bigger and bigger things. And it is exactly what I did. To be honest, I was Scrum Master, and I was responsible for coordinating work between 2, 3, and 4 teams, for example. And later on, step by step, I received some small projects to work on, to proceed to deliver to the customers, and later on a little bit bigger. And next things for me was, for example, deliver project for crucial customers for our company. So small steps, step by step, starting from maybe some kind of inside training in your team, in your organization, and later go forward.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I think also, Edita, that on the job experience, like Asha mentioned, is the most important one because you learn by doing. Or I would add to it having a mentor, someone who is already on the leadership position and can simply share knowledge. Okay, guys, another question, which I will ask right now, would go to Marta. And the question is from Ola. What do you think is the most valuable when it comes to an internship at Motorola? What would you say, Marta?
Okay, so I divide this problem into 2 areas. Soft skills, it's the most important, but to the second part of recruitation. On the first part, it depends from your language which you want to do on internship. Because, for example, from front end, you need to focus on JavaScript and CSS. It could sound silly, but yeah, CSS in a good knowledge. It's not so easy generally. So yeah. So focus on algorithms and how to solve easy problems in JavaScript or maybe in C++. It depends from your choice. And the second part, soft skills. So I recommend to focus. What do you want to do? For example, when you have a lot to do in your work, and thinking about situation like that, what do you want to do? yeah, because it's important to have interns who want to work in a team. So I think that's the most important. Algorithms, focus on the solving easy problems and focus on easy situation in real life. So that's all for me. And good luck.
And Marta, when you think about internship at Motorola, do you think you got it, or you just had to still learn new things besides?
Yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Yeah. So, but to be honest, I don't think that interns should focus on, for example, just Angular, because we have front-end on Angular, for example, or Java is sometimes Spring, sometimes other framework. So I'm rather thinking about learning and know basics. So for me, that's the most important part.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, I think no matter on which position we already are, we are still learning all the time, to be honest, because no matter if we are managers, no matter if we are developers, we are still learning. Learning is a process. So we cannot stuck on one point and that's it.
That's true. And on the learning piece, on development, Sandra, question to you from Anna. How in practice behavioral competence can be developed? And Sandra, please, can you move your mic a little bit closer?
Yes, I think that probably this is the maybe this is a place to talk more about the mentoring relations or mentoring program, because I think that the practice behavioral competence understanding as a soft skills, in my opinion, is the best way is to develop with someone, with a person, just because. So if you have a possibility to join to any mentoring programs, we as a foundation organize and conduct a lot of nowadays. No, sorry, 2 days ago we start four new programs. So if you would like to visit our website, I will put our site here. I think that it's the best way to join us and try. I see that Marta is agree with me. Probably you are a beneficiary of this program, but in my opinion, you can of course practice with your friends. You can practice with other people. But when you have a guide, something like someone like a teacher, or someone who has wider experience than you. He, of course, could see from other perspective on your experience, sometimes in a critical way, sometimes harshly way. But in my opinion, mentoring relations, even if it's investment of time, investment of sometimes money, because we have also external programs, more commercial, but it always pays off. So I am one from the mentoring team. So if you have a possibility to join to any project program, so I recommend it.
Thank you. So coming to the third part of the meeting, the last one, we wanted also to share with all of you some tips on how to be successful on entering this world. We concentrated on young people, interns, but also I think that regardless the years of experience, there is still opportunity to learn. So my question to Asha is, when you recruit, what type of candidates are you looking for?
Oh, we are talking about interns, fresh graduates, or basically in.
Let's start
in
with the
totally.
interns. Let's start with the interns, and then if that would be a big difference when you look to people with or some years of experience.
Okay, so to be honest, I had a number of recruitment panels right now in Motorola. I don't know, maybe 40, maybe 50, something like this. And to be honest, I always look for open and positive persons. So open and positive in communication, for which teamwork is a base, is important. And basically here we can go to the soft skills. Communication is extremely important. Lone wolf, to be honest, in long term may not work because we have to cooperate each other. That's why we are looking for candidates open and positive in the in teamwork, to be honest.
How do you check it during the interview if they are open and willing to cooperate?
Should I tell you right now what kind of question I
well, don't share our secrets.
Give us some tips.
Tips and tricks. Okay, basically I'm discussing with this kind of candidates about their work, basically not work, but how they are cooperating with their colleagues during the study, for example, what kind of projects they did. So in many cases, it is absolutely okay that, for example, people are telling me, I have this project with my, for example, colleagues or with 2 colleagues. We have to cooperate. We have to share our knowledge and so on. So this is some kind of proof for me that this person will be able to cooperate also in our company, for example, because they work during the study on some kind of projects and they were capable to do it. So this is, for example, one of the questions that I can ask for during recruitment process. And what is really important from MSI perspective, from Motorola perspective, during the recruitment panel, we always have at least 2 recruiters. So I'm not always alone. I also always have second person on the line. And here we are talking both in case of technical career path and also when we are talking about managerial path. So always 2 recruiters are in place to have, for example, some kind of discussion, what we are thinking about this kind of, for example, candidate. And to be honest, from new in-commerce perspective, interns and fresh graduates, we as a recruiters perfectly know that you do not have experience in case of technical, for example, knowledge, or not at all, or very poor, for example. That is why on the beginning, our technical panel is adjust rather to asking about basic, what you have learned on your study, for example. And later on, if everything is going quite smooth, quite well, we can go to next type of question, extend a little bit what we asked before. For example, to do some kind of exercise. And to be honest, and what is really important from our side, please never give up. If you can see that I completely, for example, don't understand what's going on, what are you asking for, and so on, please ask. We are there always to support you, to give you some hint, to give you some point to go further. Please don't give up when you, for example, do not know answer on the questions, or you can always tell us, I heard about that, but I didn't use it, for example, and I don't want to guess how it works. And this is absolutely okay for us because we know you have to practice you later on in your life, but on the beginning of your journey, in case of IT world, we know that first basic knowledge, and this is not practical knowledge. We know this is only, for example, knowledge from your studies, from your books, sometimes from internet and so on. So this is important. Do not give up. Try to answer. If you don't understand perfectly question that we asked for, please ask for clarification. We are there to support you. And believe me, we know that you are not an expert, and we don't want to show you that we do not want to work with you, for example. This is just to check if you will be able to cooperate, for example, with us, and how you approach, for example, new challenges. If you do not give up, and for example, you are trying to resolve, for example, some practice exercise that we gave you to resolve, and if you are trying, it is perfectly showing us that it is absolutely okay from our perspective. And if you cannot enter through the door, please try the window, for example. Okay, I believe the maybe last sentence, that theoretical knowledge in the beginning is very important, and later on you will get experience and you will be perfect in IT world for sure.
So my next question actually goes to Tatiana. If you could give some practical best advice for young professional entering IT world, what would it be?
That's a tough question. I got there a lot of competences to try for, and everybody would probably have their own challenge and their own struggle with wherever there is. So, in my case, in my personal case, it was to try to be accountable in what I was doing, and this is something that I could suggest to anybody entering this world, because at the beginning it probably feels like there is always somebody else knowing what to do and they will take care of the situation, but it is never the case, and it will never take me out of my zone of comfort, relying on somebody else rather than making decision, taking responsibility. And so for me, that was a game changer. And this is something that I could actually suggest to others. And there are very important things coming out today that I think it's worth repeating again and again, that it's like never give up, right? It's hard to say that there is a person who tried and succeeded from the first attempt. It's probably a lot of tries. And the sense of humor, I like what Joanna mentioned, the sense of humor. In my opinion, it actually not only important to work with others. I've known some people who was not so much happy, but I was happy working with them. So I can conduct that. But in my opinion, the good sense of humor could actually help you to overcome those struggles on the way, to be less critical to yourself and potentially try more. And the good way of learning is also learning from the other people, and it always worth trying and finding such a person that you would envision that the person can share something with you. Any sort of mentoring program, any sort of guidance from the manager, asking for feedback as much as possible. All of that would help, as far as you could be open to accept it and to take the risk to try, basically, to make this step.
Thank you very much. Would you add anything to it, Marta, from your perspective?
I'm totally agree with Tatiana, because feeling responsible for what we do is the most important part, because we are a part of a team, but we are growing every day. So it's important to feeling that we can do it, but we need to cooperate each other with whole team, but also feeling that we can do it also. For example, I worked in a 911 project, each other with teams from Canada and USA, and we are doing a very nice project which make matter, yeah, because we are doing software for emergency call handling centers. So our job make impact toward. So I think it's important also to feeling comfortable with project which we are working for. So I'm also like Motorola and for this chains to work with project which makes matter. So yeah.
Thank you. We have two questions again. So the question for all of us ladies, what is the biggest challenge for women to work in IT company, a place dominated by men?
Oh.
Which one?
we have to show that we are equal, that they are not, for example, smarter than we are, to be honest, that we can manage our work exactly in the same way that they can do it. For example, on the beginning, it was very hard to me because, 16 years ago, was much less women in IT world than we already have. So I have to prove that I can do it, that I am capable to do it. And I show that, for example, as a troubleshooter, when I work as a troubleshooter, for example, I had such impression that I'm not developing, for example, myself. What I'm doing, I'm always try to find out what's going on and why this defect happened, for example. But later on, after a few months, I realized that I know much more than my colleagues from the project because I touch number of spaces in our code and I learned this code perfectly. But his focus was, for example, on this particular area. And later on, I had to clarify my colleagues from the team what's going on as a total in our areas, not only in this particular area that he worked on. So to be honest, as a troubleshooter, as a developer, I gain much wider knowledge about the product than work in this particular area, for example, that he worked on.
Mm-hmm.
So I can add something. For me, my biggest challenge was the culture of work, because men has men word, and I came and I want to be a good girl with good vocabulary. Yeah, and I learn my team to do it. So yeah, so that's funny, but yeah.
So the culture piece as well. Tatiana, from your perspective, did you find it challenging at all?
Well, from the studies times, where I was the only girl in the group, I think that I would agree that the challenging was to differentiate yourself. When you don't have any sort of example to follow, that's kind of difficult, and then you would envision seeing the guy doing the right thing, and you would envision that you need to do the same. Most probably not, but having a good example is something that was needed, though it was a long time ago. Yeah, and right now I'm just seriously thinking about this question, and I don't think it is such a challenge at nowadays, thanks to all those women who did so much to the prove of our rights, basically, of killing and damaging the stereotypes. I only right now experience the equality, and I'm very thankful for that.
Okay, thank you, Tatiana. Another question from Janek.
But maybe
yeah.
if I could add something
Sure.
related to Tatiana, you know that the reality is, because we also reported this field in the tech universities, it is the bigger problem than girls in at the company. The bigger problem is at the universities, because there is a situation where, for example, in automatic and robotics, mechatronics, there are places where girls are like a 1, 2, sometimes 3, and they have a problem, first of all, with the colleagues, and second, with the professors. And this is a problem because where the girls finish the study, they have really low self-confidence. They don't trust themselves. They don't believe that they know anything. So the problem is in the system, in the education system, with this girls in technology in general. In the company is better. The diversity index is better here in Europe, in Poland now. But yeah, we have a really big problem to do something in our education field.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the companies are way much better nowadays in adapting and killing the stereotypes, but there is a lot of these things still left at the universities in these organizations. I also met the women one time who was trying to, I wanted to apply to the university, to the cathedra. I think that's what's called cathedra, the faculty. And there was a woman who asked me, why am I going here? Because I need to connect two pieces with a fire. I don't know the name, but really the women sitting there and telling me to choose something else. Like, seriously?
So it's still going. It's still going.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not today. I completed my university some time ago, but yeah, unfortunately, the memories are the memories, and it's worth remembering and keeping in mind that it's.
Yes, Sandra, and in case of what you mentioned, in case of study, for example, you are perfectly right, because I finished study a number of years ago, and what you mentioned, I finished mechatronics, so I was only one on my year, for example, and later on when I finished my school, first half of the year I was a secretary because I didn't believe that I can do it something more. Yeah. So I perfectly agree with you, and this is my case, to be honest. Right now,
I didn't know.
Yeah, I know that you didn't know, so I can prove that we can do everything, to be honest, because I was a secretary. Right now I'm project manager, so you have to learn and you have to believe in yourself, and later on will be much easier.
Do your job and be brave.
Yes, exactly.
So talking about being brave, I think that it's always important when you come along stressful situation. And this is also the next question. Was there a really stressful situation in your work that you had to manage, and how did you handle it? That's actually the question to whoever will be the first to answer. Stressful situation.
Maybe in Motorola there is no stressful situation.
Or we have so many that you don't know which one to choose, right?
It's hard to choose.
Yeah. For me, I think the most stressful situation comes when we have a lot of priorities at the end of quarters or sprints, and we need to do a lot of work. And when I feel overwhelmed, I really like to do sports. So I'm go to the walk after walk. I'm going to running and so on. So for me, that's all to manage stressful situation.
How about you, Tatiana?
It always depends on the situation, but the key point is not to start panicking for me, because I always tempting like I have to panic at the moment. So wherever it's helping to give up with that, like go for fresh air, drink a cup of tea, and then return to the problem in 5 minutes, 10 minutes always helps. Asking for help of somebody or opinion of somebody else, because something that seems too stressful for you at the first time might not seem so stressful to somebody who doesn't take it so personally, maybe. Anyways, that's more or less applicable to any sort of stressful situation. So
yes, basically, and what we have to remember also that on the other side we have also people we have also humans, that sometimes it is better to clarify why, for example, we are not able to deliver something today, but they have to wait a few days more. And when we are providing very precise communication, what's going on, and maybe it is better to wait few days more because we will be able to fix some kind of issues, and we, with honest, tell him that we are struggling with this kind of issue. It always help to understand the other side, to understand why we have some delay, for example. And this is stressful situation, to be honest, because when you are talking that we will deliver something during, for example, 2 days, 5 days, 1 month, on 1 year, and we have delay, it is not very. I don't like to discuss with customer, for example, that we have delay, but honest is always better than trying to find unrealistic reason to do that.
Okay, thank you. Anything you would like to add to it, Sandra, from your experience?
Yes, we have. Long story short, last year when we are after big success after 2018 and 19 Perspective Women in Tech Summit, and a year ago when, as we all know, a pandemic came and events completely shifted to online, and thus the trust and lack of knowledge about how these tools worked. And we have to prove that to our partners that it will be work. It was a very, very big problem for us because we are a small foundation, and it was for us to be or not to be. So yeah, we decided to quickly organize ourselves, start to look for the best solutions from different parts of the world. And long story short, we succeeded. In December, we had over 40 technology companies. We made the biggest conference in Europe for women in technology. The biggest technology event in Poland also. So it was very stressful, but it showed me that attentiveness, humility, patience, and determination in this case proved to be the guarantee of success. But it was work. It is about do it your job still. Find a solutions, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The last question, actually, again, would go to you, Sandra, because we talked a little bit more on the soft skills. So, who are we looking for? Where we need to invest? Do you think that there are must-have skills needed to perform a job at a certain level?
I think that a lot of answers have already appeared because, as Jan Marta also mentioned about the most important soft skills dedicated to IT employees. But I think that the opposite to proficiency with the programming languages, with the mathematical skills, analytic skills, of course, willing to learn and openness to change, collaboration, team working, / be diverse, solving problems. But the last but not least, I think there is a communication. In the past, it used to be that the main factor was whether a person achieved goals or not. But not, however, in recent times. This has changed, in my opinion. And there is, I was talking with my colleagues who manage one of the IT team, and he said that his main problem is that he don't have people who can share knowledge that they know a lot of, but the problem is that they don't know how to communicate, and a lot of knowledge is out of the company with the person who is leaving. So this is a problem with us sharing the knowledge, because you spend a lot of time to educate, to teach, to know and also a lot of money, because every employee, there is a lot of money for the company. So I think that if you talk about those soft skills, so those are most important. But why I think that I'm not sure how many of students we have today, but this is very important for students, because they enable to adjust to the frustration and challenges they will encounter in their adult life. Mastering soft skills, in my opinion, as I said before, helps live us better, work better, learn better. There is a very strong part of our life. In our programs, in our foundation, we supported a girl this year, and we are very happy. The IT4She program will have another new partner, and this is a Motorola. So we are very happy that you are with us this year. Yeah, someone would like to ask something? I've heard.
No.
I'm sorry. I saw something like a breeze. Because we've got a lot of questions about the mentoring relations, because there is a lot of programs, especially young girls that don't know which one should do and if they should do in general. But in my opinion, mentoring is a great source of inspiration, and for many mentees, it is something like a wide open window to the world, which was unknown to them. In our programs, we often meet girls who are extremely talented, who are very good grades at university, often better than female colleagues. But the problem is that they are necessarily able to talk about it. They don't know how to present. They have a lot of achievements, but still think that they didn't do anything. So our mentees often work on skills such as public speaking, creating group presentation, being able to talk about the things they create, building teams, and their role there. They also learn hard things like programming, but we try to focus on the soft skills. It also happens that mentees appear together with their mentors at a technology conference where they present a specific issue together. They often present the project in front of other employees of the company where the mentor works. This is a chance to meet a wider audience for the first time. For example, some of our partners companies give the girls Gallup tests. I think that it's a good idea. The Gallup test, which allows them to identify their strengths and focus on developing those specific ones. So there is a lot of options to work with mentors.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you've noticed, we received very, very nice feedback from Ella that we are great. Your words are very helpful and empowering. Thank you. Guys, to summarize the discussion, definitely what you've said is things to remember, that we shouldn't never ever give up. We need to try doing things even if we make mistakes. Find a mentor, learn and grab opportunities as they come. And the very important piece is to have a great sense of humor, because in this world, definitely you will benefit by having it. Guys, any questions from the audience before we wrap up? We are still open for questions. We will wait a couple of seconds. Feel free to write.
Oh, I see. Małgorzata R is writing. What is gonna be?
Right now, she feels pressure.
Okay, she felt pressured, and then no question.
Sorry.
That was more of a feedback than a question. Thank you very much. We also really appreciate. Guys, thank you so much. I don't see any questions. If they come along, of course, you can also contact us and send us some email. And I really enjoy also having our special guest, Sandra. So thank you very much for participating.
It was a lot of sense of humor here.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.